Morning all, and welcome to another seemingly nice day in the Lower Mainland. Strange. British Columbia, not raining. Yeah. Rained yesterday, plenty, but still. It is March. It's getting warmer. A couple weeks away from the start of spring. Here we go. St. Louis in against New Jersey tonight. So, of course, I'm wearing St. Louis because I'm picking them, which is not really earth-shattering. And yet New Jersey's been playing a lot better lately. So St. Louis 40, 17 and 10 over their last 10. They're 8 and 2. On the road they're 17, 11 and 5. So the Blues playing really, really well right now. In against New Jersey, who are 26, 28 and 12. They're 5, 3 and 2 in their last 10. They're 12, 10 and 10 at home, which is an interesting record. February 18th, St. Louis won at home against New Jersey 3-0. So New Jersey hasn't had a goal yet against St. Louis this season. Binnington, 30, 11 and 7 with 911 save percentage. Allen, 10, 6 and 3 with the 922 save percentage. Goaltending has been solid for St. Louis. On the New Jersey side of things, Blackwood, 21, 13 and 8 with the 916 save percentage. Any New Jersey fan will tell you all about Blackwood. Schneider, 2, 6 and 2 with an 882 save percentage. He's been better since the call-up, as I've been saying. And we'll see how things go tonight for these two teams. Notable scorers, Jaden Schwartz having a very good season. 21 goals, 33 assists, 54 points. Pietrangelo, 13 goals, 36 assists, 49 points, making the argument he should get a bunch more money. And when we talk about the salary cap going up, that could affect St. Louis's ability to keep Pietrangelo. Barbashev, 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 points. Pretty decent season for him. O'Reilly, 12 goals, 47 assists, 59 points for Ryan O'Reilly. On the New Jersey side, Hischier, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points. Zacha, 8 goals, 22 assists, 30 points. And Zacha has been really playing, I think, the best hockey of his career in recent weeks. Subban, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points. This season's been mostly a write-off, but he's been better lately. Gusev, 12 goals, 30 assists, 42 points. It's not the 128 that he said he was striving towards at the start of the year, but who's going to hit 128 points this year? Maybe Draisaitl gets there, but either way, it's a pretty high bar, and I think Gusev's done well enough for himself. Next on the board is Chicago in against Detroit. So this is the only one starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. This one starts at 4:30, 7:30 Eastern. Chicago looking like a threat, 31, 28 and 8. They're 6 and 4 in their last 10. They're 16, 15 and 4. I would totally put an Akbar magnet on this one, but Chicago's not in the playoffs, so really there shouldn't be a trap game for them. They should come out with that effort every night and believing that they can win or lose on any given night, so they don't take a night off. Now Detroit's 15, 48 and 5 over their last 10. They're 1, 8 and 1 at home. They're 10, 22 and 2. So the overall numbers for Detroit are bad. I mean, when you have this late in the season an article on can they reach 40 points, that tells you all you need to know, especially when it's going to take 95 to 100 to make the playoffs in the East. January 5th, these teams met in Chicago. Chicago won that one 4-2 over the Detroit Red Wings. We'll see how it goes tonight. Crawford's played a ton, 15, 18 and 3 with a 915 save percentage. Subban, who apparently had that 2 minutes the other night that I missed in a game for Chicago. I would think he gets the start here. I haven't checked this morning. I think he probably does. He's 9-7 and 3 with an 890 save percentage, and if you're going to start him against Detroit. Bernier, 13, 21 and 3 with a 907 save percentage. He's been pretty darn good. And Howard, 2, 23 and 2 with an 882 save percentage, is playing out the string and very likely. I would think this may very well be his last year. I'm almost guaranteeing it's his last year in Detroit at the very least. Maybe he gets a backup job somewhere else next season. Kubalik, stuck on 29 goals for a bit here, so I'm throwing him on the board to see if that'll get him to 30. Patrick Kane hit 30 last night. Kubalik, 29 goals, 16 assists, 45 points. Boquist, who's been producing points recently, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. And Kirby Dach, who's been on the score sheet a couple times as well. 8 goals, 14 assists now, 22 points for Dach. And Nylander, 9 goals, 15 assists, 24 points. It's been a decent enough season for him. I'll be interested to see of these young players for Chicago who plays prominent roles next year. On the Detroit side of things, I wanted to throw Lindstrom on the board. He doesn't have a point in 13 games. He's a -7, but what those stats don't tell you is he's pretty good. He's a pretty good defenseman. I think next year we're going to hear a heck of a lot more about him. I think he could be an important defenseman for Detroit's future. Bertuzzi, 18 goals, 24 assists, 42 points for him. Pretty good year for him. It feels like it's been a quieter second half than the first. Nielsen, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Yeah, I don't know with Nielsen. I don't know. Do they keep him? What do they do with Nielsen for next year? And Gagne, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. We'll see if he goes on, a little bit of a goal scoring tear towards the end of the season in order to improve his value in the offseason. So we'll see what happens there. Next on the board is Vegas. Yes, starting at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, Vegas is in against the Winnipeg Jets. Vegas Golden Knights first, and likely very happy that Chicago won last night, so they can throw them a gift basket. And likely very thankful to Chicago for Robin Lehner as well. They now have a two-headed beast in net for the first time in their existence. 37, 23, and 8 is their overall record. They are 9 and 1 in their last 10. On the road, they're 15, 12, and 4. They've been pretty darn good. Now, Winnipeg, they're 34, 28, and 6. They're 5, 4, and 1 in their last 10. They're 18, 14, and 3 at home. They've won 4 in a row at home. It's a very important game for Winnipeg, as they all will be from here, as they try to claw their way back into a playoff spot in the West. And it feels like they win, and they go, yay, we're in. And then by the time their next game starts, and we're out again, so we've got to win again. And for Vegas, they're trying to really distance themselves and, secure first place in the division. Winnipeg won this meeting November 2nd in Vegas, 4-3 in overtime. They will meet again in Winnipeg on March 29th. Marc-Andre Fleury, 26, 15, and 5 with a .906 save percentage. Leonard, 18, 10, and 5 with a .921 save percentage overall. On the Winnipeg side, Hellebuck, 28, 21, and 5 with a .920 save percentage. And Brisebois, 6, 7, and 1 with an .895 save percentage. So I would think you see Hellebuck and Fleury, two guys who may very well get talked about for Vezina. Fleury is less likely than Hellebuck. Hellebuck may very well end up winning the darn thing. Scoring. Stevenson, overall, 11 goals, 15 assists, 26 points. He's been scoring at a better rate in Vegas than he did in Washington, of course. Stastny, 17 goals, 20 assists, 37 points. He's salvaged this season. He, first half, wasn't playing particularly well and scoring, but now that scoring is there. Carlson, much the same. Carlson's scoring's picked up recently. 15 goals, 29 assists, 44 points. And Tomasz Nosek, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Just continues to drag along that fourth line, and he's a pretty darn good player as well. On the Winnipeg side, Tucker Poolman has started putting up the odd point here and there. 3 goals, 11 assists for him. Roslovic, I like Jack Roslovic a lot. 12 goals, 16 assists, 28 points. If the Jets make the playoffs and actually go on a little bit of a run, Roslovic may very well be one of those guys that comes out of nowhere. The John Drews factor. Morrissey, 5 goals, 24 assists, 29 points for him. He's had a good year. And Connor has had an amazing year. 35 goals, 35 assists for 70 points overall. Much better season than I think anybody could have anticipated, other than probably Connor himself. So, last year I went out on a limb and said I liked Connor better than I liked Laine as just all-around player. And so far this year, Connor's numbers have been better than Laine's. Not because Laine's having a bad year, Laine's having a very good year, but Connor's been absolutely fantastic. All right. Arizona, the Coyotes in against the Calgary Flames. This one starts at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Arizona 33, 27, and 8 coming off of that comeback victory against the Vancouver Canucks, and with Darcy Kemper in their nets. They're 5, 4, and 1 in their last 10. They're 16, 15, and 4 on the road. And if Kemper can bring these guys into the playoffs, that'll qualify as somewhat miraculous. On the Calgary side, compared to where they were a couple weeks ago, Calgary 35, 26, and 7. They're 6, 3, and 1 in their last 10. They're 15, 12, and 4 at home. Now, November 5th, Calgary won at home 4-3 in overtime over the Arizona Coyotes. November 16th, Arizona shut out Calgary at home 3-0. And December 10th, the Arizona Coyotes in Arizona lost against Calgary 5-2. A game that, as I remember, got kind of punchy. So we'll see how things go tonight, if this feud gets rekindled, and if Calgary can kind of distance themselves from the wild cards in the West, solidify their top 3 spot, and leave us all hoping that we see Edmonton and Calgary in the first round. That would be fantastic. But Ronta, 15-14-3 for the Coyotes with a .921 save percentage. Darcy Kemper, 16-9-2 with a .929 save percentage. Those numbers are fantastic. On the Calgary front, Riddick, 24-16-6 with a .907 save percentage. But Talbot played well enough in the last game. We'll see if they play him. He's 11-10-1 with a .918 save percentage. Yeah, kind of playing like he should be the starter. And has been for the last little while here. It does go back and forth in Calgary, though. Keller, 17 goals, 26 assists for the Coyotes, 43 points. Soderberg, who seemed to have a breakthrough game against Vancouver, 16 goals, 17 assists, 33 points. Don't be surprised if he has another one of those nights tonight in Calgary. Demers, 10 assists. Very notable defensive defenseman for the Arizona Coyotes. And so I wanted to have him on the board today. Hall, 15 goals, 35 assists, 50 points. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Taylor Hall's been underwhelming in Arizona. If the Coyotes end up making the playoffs, right now it doesn't look like it's going to be a Taylor Hall thing. It looks like it'll be a Darcy Kemper thing. And if I was John Chayka, I would have some serious pause about giving him a huge long-term extension. But we'll see what they do. On the Calgary side, Giordano, 5 goals, 26 assists, 31 points. He's looked good since coming back from injury. Monahan, 22 goals, 25 assists, 47 points. If these Flames are not only going to make the playoffs, but be dangerous in them, they need their core guys like Monahan to get going. Hanifin, 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 points. And Mangiapane, my favorite Flame, 17 goals, 13 assists, 30 points. If you go back to last year's videos, you'll see I was saying it last year as well. That being said, it is time to go to board number 2. So, Vancouver. I was thinking about wearing a Canucks jersey this morning. I thought, nah. And I thought, well, I could always wear Colorado. And then I thought, oh, that's a big no. So tonight's a big game for Vancouver. And you don't want to overreact to everything, but it kind of feels like if this losing streak hits 5 tonight, that might be enough. Because, honestly, the West, Minnesota's hot. They're in that first wildcard spot now. Nashville looks dangerous. And so Vancouver has to start winning some games. They just have to start winning some games. And Colorado playing some pretty darn fine hockey right now. They're 40-18-8. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. They're 23-9-2 on the road. Vancouver's 34-26-6. Their last 10, they're 4-5-1. And at home, they're 28-4. That 8 was a 7 until the Arizona game the other night, and I'm concerned that it may become a 9. Now, Colorado came in and beat Vancouver in their one meeting November 16th. That was a 5-4 win in overtime. These teams will meet again in Colorado on March 13th. So Colorado could injure the Canucks' ability to make the playoffs, or we could look back at this game in a month's time and say, this is where Vancouver turned it around. Francouz, 19-5-4 with a .927 save percentage. He's been fantastic. Hutchinson's numbers this year, 5-9-1 with an .888 save percentage. On the Vancouver side of things, they have Demko, 11-9-3 with a .904 save percentage, and Demang, 3-9-2 with an .882 save percentage. So we'll see what happens tonight with this one. Makar and Hughes are against each other. Makar, 12 goals, 35 assists, 47 points for the Abs. Jost, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points. He has been putting up points tonight or lately. We'll see what he does tonight. Donskoy, 15 goals, 17 assists, 32 points. And Landeskog, who had a big game in their last game. 19 goals, 18 assists, 37 points. We'll see if he's heating up, getting ready for the playoffs. On the Vancouver side, JT Miller, already with a career high in points. 26 goals, 43 assists for 69 points. He's been fantastic. Virtanen has been pretty darn good as well. 18 goals, 18 assists, 36 points. He did everything but get a goal in the last game. Louis Eriksson, I'm not sure why he's in the top 6, to be honest. 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. And, Louis seems like a nice enough guy, but the Canucks need more production at that spot. They need more production. And they're not getting it. Hughes, 8 goals, 44 assists, 52 points for him. And Quinn Hughes is kind of the defenseman that all their hopes are riding on. So we'll see what happens with that from here on. But if Hughes ends up with about 60 points, I would say that he should be at least... I would say he and Makar are still the likely favorites. And I want to say, well, if he hits 60, he should win it. But yeah, Cale Makar is still capable of taking over a game as well. So, all right. Last game of the night is Toronto in against Anaheim. The Leafs need to salvage something on this road trip. I thought about wearing Leafs for this too, and I thought, no, well, they're in a second half of a back-to-back. Well, I could wear Ducks because maybe they're... Nah, I don't want to get the perception I'm trying to jinx Toronto because I want Toronto to make the playoffs. 35-24-9 is the overall record for Toronto. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. They're 18-15-2 on the road. Anaheim, 27-32-8 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. They're 14-14-4 at home. February 7th, Toronto wins this meeting at home, 5-4 in overtime, so it was close. And Toronto coming off of a shootout loss last night. Honestly, Anaheim needs to fire many shots on them early and try to wear them down. February 7th, it's almost exactly a month ago. So maybe Anaheim looks for some revenge tonight. Maybe that's in overtime as well. Well, yeah, it's a 7 o'clock game in California. So since it'll be the last game of the night, of course it'll go into overtime. Anderson, 28-13-7 now with a .908 save percentage. They'll go with Campbell. He's 11-11-3 with a .903 save percentage. On the Anaheim side, I would think you got Gibson here, 19-26-5 with a .902 save percentage. Miller, 8-6-3 with a .908 save percentage. I'm just surprised you don't go with Campbell against the Kings and Anderson against the Ducks for obvious reasons, but Keefe has his own reasons as well. Okay, so Marner, 16 goals, 49 assists, 65 points. Hasn't been as good in the second half of the season as he was in the first. And then you've got Sandin on the blue line, 27 games played, 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points. He's been a healthy scratch here and there. I think Sandin's been good, and I think Sandin's going to be a solid top 4 as soon as next year. I just, the amount of pressure you get in that Toronto, from Toronto media, not necessarily from fans, but from the media, it's just so rough. Because I think Sandin is a really bright part of their future. Nylander, 29 goals, 28 assists, 57 points for him. Tavares, 26 goals, 32 assists, 58 points. Underwhelming season, I feel, for Tavares, but I think Nylander's been excellent. So that's where expectations come in, because their totals are pretty darn near identical. On the Anaheim side, Getzlaf started getting some points recently. 13 goals, 28 assists, 41 points for him. Sonny Milano, who's been really good since coming over. 7 goals, 15 assists for him. Christian Djoos, who's been playing career-high numbers in terms of ice time for Anaheim. 7 games and 1 assist thus far this season. And Danton Heinen, coming over from Boston. He's been pretty darn good. I like Heinen. I'm glad he's doing well in Anaheim thus far. 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. So there you go. Let me know your winners, your thoughts, all of that other wonderful stuff in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and thank you guys so much for all your support. It's been great, and I will talk to you again soon.